And before we begin this story, our guest star for I don't know how many clips she'll be in, Patchy. God, I love that cat. I don't know how she's fucking up the camera right now because I didn't
No.
ask Tristan. No. Because you were telling me off camera her butt might be in the shot. So I hope she's not, like, shaking the table. Because if she's not, then I don't care. She's the only reason why people watch this show.
Okay.
Anyway, so, speaking of shows that people love to watch, because they clearly love to watch us, Toonami, sadly, is delaying FLCL, Fooly Cooley, Progressive, and Fooly Cooley Alternative English subs. So what does that mean? Because of course we know that they only they only aired the English sub of, I believe it was Alternative. They aired that on what's it called? They aired that on April Fools. That's what the day is called. They aired like the first episode, and everyone minds were fucking blown. I was texting you and Anthony Toto like, you guys gotta turn on Toonami right fucking now. And you were like not responding to me, and I'm like, if you're at our mutual friend's house, you're gonna turn off the goddamn games and watch some subtitled anime on Toonami. But you guys did not do that. And it's okay, but I'm very disappointed in you. It's fine. I missed Fooly Cooley. I got to see Mind Game after, but I missed Fooly Cooley. But
Oh my god.
because I didn't think about the fact that it was April Fool's. I was just trying to get stuff done, like I always am with our
Right.
multiple fucking channels. So I was just trying to get stuff done. I love what I do, but sometimes. So I was just trying to get stuff done, and then I saw people reacting on different parts of the internet, and I was like, excuse me, what's happening right now? Anyway. But what's being delayed here? It's not television airings being delayed. It's actually on their own website. So on
Right.
Adult Swim's website, they're trying to have Japanese versions of some of the English stuff that they air. Just, I guess, to sweeten the deal, just to be like, hey, if you're an anime fan who still likes, Toonami, and you don't want to watch the dub, though, you're not interested in dubs on Toonami, you can watch the subs. So that makes sense, actually. It's really a good thing that Toonami's doing, even if it's a little bit more money here and there. Let's say if the American company is able to sub-license the subtitles as well as the dub to any company, they totally should. Great way to make some money back. And it's not like it's exclusive to Toonami. If you don't care about Toonami and you want to go to Crunchyroll, I'm sure you could still watch it on Crunchyroll as well. Although, to be fair with Fooly Cooley, Adult Swim did put some money into it in the production level.
Right.
So they actually produced the anime alongside the other Japanese companies. So to be fair, that they do have a little bit more leeway with that than they would with some other shows that are on their network. But sadly, not as much leeway as we thought. So essentially what happened here was they had them up. So Fooly Cooley, if you don't know, Tristan, is airing right now, dubbed on Toonami. Fooly Cooley, I believe it's Progressive, is airing right now. So it's airing right now. You can go watch it, have fun. I've heard some mixed reviews on it thus far. We're probably gonna do a podcast on it when it, the week that it wraps up, right? But the issue is that the Japanese company that also owns the rights to it, because there's a bunch of different companies. If you guys don't know that when an anime is made, there's a production committee. So it's not just Adult Swim. It's not just one company. Different parts of the process is overseen by different companies. So originally, Adult Swim had not the entire season, of course, but they had, as every single episode aired, I think at this point there were maybe 2 episodes. Yeah, I think 2, maybe 3 episodes at this point. Maybe at most just 1. And so then they had the subtitled version on the Toonami streaming service. And then all of a sudden, they just pulled them all. And pulled them and then said, hey, by the way, on Facebook, they said, out of respect for our Japanese partners, and in order to align with the release of the Japanese language versions, we are pulling these.
Right.
Or we are not pulling them, and we're not airing any new ones until November. So that's when they'll be making them available, in November. Right. And why? Because that is around the time that I think they'll be either airing. I think that's when they'll be airing. And the reason why they were worried about this, and frankly, I think it's understandable. We are in an age when, even though piracy is still, in Japan actually, not only looked down upon like it is in the US, but you can go to jail for a long time for piracy there. However, just because just because that is the case, like you could get in trouble more often. You know where there's also a heavy ban on piracy? Like in the law, they're like, you cannot pirate this, otherwise you'll go to jail for a long time. You want to know what other country does that?
What, Matt?
China.
Right.
And we see how well that goes.
Oddly enough, yeah.
It's true. No, but it's true. In the law, they're like, you can go to jail, you can get fines, but do they enforce it? I'm not saying Japanese companies and Japanese law doesn't enforce it, but it can still happen, sadly, regardless. So even though it's, in some cases, people are like, yeah, but, and, the dub is being released. Yeah, but it's not the sub, because the sub has Japanese audio. Japanese fans who have been waiting years, just like we have, for more Fooly Cooly, aren't going to sit there and turn their nose up at English subtitles on the screen.
Right.
If they can find it ripped on the internet, which any website, literally any website, Crunchyroll, I'm sure, even though I haven't seen any, I'm sure there's rips from High Dive. I'm sure there's Verve rips. If there's a company that has any show that's quote-unquote exclusive, it's gonna get a rip.
Right.
I'm not saying it's right, but it happens. So that's clearly why the Japanese company was like, hey, we're gonna do a road show where we're actually going to air the first, I think maybe like episode or 2 in theaters, and then it's gonna come out around, I think, November. Could you guys just not do this? Yeah, and frankly, again, I get it. Now, I think it was kind of shitty, or kind of just freaking weird that Adult Swim didn't talk to the Japanese company first. Like, there should have been some communication somewhere. I mean, you're working together. It's 2018. The internet exists. This isn't like how it was in the 90s when you sent, the Japanese sent a tanuki and Americans sent carrier pigeons to try to get word out to the other side about what was going on with the anime that they localized. Like, this isn't the 90s anymore.
Right.
We have high-speed internet. Not everywhere, but Japan does. And I assume in LA, where the Adult Swim headquarters are located, they do as well.
Right.
So, maybe not LA, but like in Cali. Actually, it's funny. I think, or is there, wait, I don't know. Maybe their location is in New York. Which, either way, they would still have high-speed internet. Point is irrelevant. Point is moot. So you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like, it's not that... I don't think this is a problem. I mean, what's your take on it? Are you upset that you can't watch this sub anytime soon? Or...
I mean, I'm just surprised that Adult Swim was able to start it at all without their get-go. Like, I feel
apparently.
Like that... I don't know. I feel like they were like, oh, we have this ready now. Let's go. Let's unveil it. And I don't know. Maybe Japan was like, wait, we want to do the movie thing first, and they're like, oh, we were not aware of this, or
sure. I guess. I mean, it's just interesting though because it's a joint. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe Adult Swim feels like because they put in money, they're like not in such an arrogant way, but just like, oh, we still have to report into you, and it's kind of like. If it's not your version. Because if the Japanese side said that about the dub, I'd be like, okay, come on, guys.
Right.
Right? I'd be like, guys, what are you doing here? But if it's their version and their dub, and it's a company working together with another company, from the ground up, essentially. So really, the English dub, I would imagine, is almost as faithful, if not just as faithful, as the Japanese version.
Right.
Right? Like, both were written, I would imagine, somewhat simultaneously.
I mean, yeah, there's also an update to this as well for June 5th.
Oh, yes, thank you.
One of the vice president and creative director for Adult Swim has stated that the English subtitle versions were moved at Toho's request.
Yes, and so I guess Toho is in this case, the company that is... Well, I didn't realize Toho was actually involved in this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I forgot what companies were involved. So no, because I knew it was at the request of the company. I just didn't realize it was Toho. Thank you for clarifying that it's Toho. But no, yeah. So I knew it was. It was. That's why I was saying earlier. Even though I didn't read the update, I knew it was at the company's request. Not like it'd be odd if Adult Swim was like, "We're not interested in making money. We have a streaming service where the show that we funded is on it, and it's the subtitled version." There are some people that only watch the subtitled version of stuff. Which, by the way, I'm not saying it's odd because, yeah, totally. Why wouldn't you watch the subtitled version, right? My problem, though, where it gets weird to me, Tristan, is like, if someone sits there and looks like an American creation and says, like, SpongeBob was good in English, but the Japanese dub, so much better. Like, that's where it gets weird to me. Do you know what I mean? When, like, it's kind of like an American saying that. Like, an American who doesn't speak Japanese, who's looking at the subtitles, like, yeah, the American version's okay, but the Japanese version, that's... So, like, when looking at shows, even if they are anime, in this case, actually looking at real anime, even if they're anime, it's just strange to me that when a show is worked at, again, at the ground level, like this one, or even something like, do you remember Space Dandy?
Yeah.
That was also a show that was the English sub, I believe the English dub actually is what I meant, actually technically aired before the sub.
Right.
And I knew someone who was like, yeah, I just can't get into the dub. And I'm like, it was made with the company.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like a half, like, yes, technically with even something like Dragon Ball Z, I believe technically Akira Toriyama did get a say into who dubbed, like, what voices, even though it was, so long ago. I'm pretty sure Toriyama had a little bit of a hand in it, because they usually, in Japan, don't like to leave a creator out completely, unless the creator's like, don't worry, I don't care, I'm good, right?
Right.
Like, usually a creator gets some kind of input. I mean, for One Piece, Oda, I'm pretty sure, got the ability to be like, hey, I don't like that person voicing Luffy for the Funimation dub. Or, I do like that person voicing Luffy. So in this case... This is done not just with the original creators, but at the same time as the original creation.
Right.
To the point where this dub is coming out before the sub. And it just is so strange to me that there are people that are like, I hate that I have to wait for the sub, man. Just can't get into those English voices. And I'm like, what? I know it's technically a sequel to something that originally started in Japan before it was picked up with, by... the original company that dubbed it over. But you see what I mean? You see where it kind of gets weird to me? Where it's like, I totally get that you prefer, the quote-unquote original version, and that the dub is considered like an imitation. But in this case, when they're beginning at the same time, or even something like a simul-dub, is it truly considered an imitation?
Right.
At that point? I'm legitimately asking you, like, is it considered one?
I don't know, man. I was just here to watch the show, man.
You're like, not the time. I don't want to get into a flame war. Not the time. But my question to you then, you know what? Let's scrap that. That'll be, if you guys want to hear us talk about that, please comment below. You can go to our Patreon, and we can do it in like a Q&A section type thing for Keikaku Corner. But right now, we're gonna leave it moot. It'll be up to you guys. Comment below what you think. But what I'll ask you, Tristan, is, are you upset about not being able to see the sub, or are you happy that the dub is available?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy the dub is available. I enjoyed Fooly Cooly when I first saw it, and I'm glad that they've been able to come out with more. I'm interested to see what they present as this story, because the first one felt like it wrapped up its story. So, like, I know there are new characters introduced, and there's some old characters coming back for this. So I'm just interested to see what they do with it. I'm fine with the dub.
So you're fine with the dub. So you're not upset the sub is being delayed.
Yeah, no, because I haven't seen the sub for the first one.
Okay.
I've only ever seen the dub. So.
All right, then. By the way, I would like to mention, when this news came out, the first episode hadn't even aired yet, so people were extremely confused. They were like, is all of Fooly Cooly gone? And it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's fine. And of course, as I said earlier, it's still airing right now.
Right.
So your Fooly Cooly is just fine if you like the dub.
Your Fooly is cooly if you like the dub. I can't make
the dubooly.
Just
bully.
no, just end it. Just end it.
All right, we're done. We're done.